Hello everyone and welcome back to game week 2 of the 2024-25 Optegra Championship, where you join myself, Ryan Sipple, and my co-commentator Lucas Veza O'Brien for Muscle Warriors versus Hull and East Yorkshire. Let me go through the squads quickly, and then myself and Lucas will bring you the action live here from the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. Anyone wanting GBG Knights versus Manchester United, that's also live on the WFA's YouTube channel. So Muscle Warriors, current league leaders, comprised of Mitchell Goslin, Hannah Hindley, Jacob Vickers, Shane Murray, Stanley Ball, George Shippey, Parth Gakwad and Ricken Shah. Hull and East Yorkshire are comprised of Luke Brennan, Kai Gill, Aston Walls, Callum Jefferson, Joel Rothery, Steve Kerrison, Harrison Smith and Emma Hodson. How are you, Lucas?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Ready for this one. As just mentioned, Muscle Warriors, top of the table, played 6, won 6, so they'll be wanting to continue that trend here against Hull and East Yorkshire, who were relegated from the 23-24 Premiership. Had a fairly difficult opening weekend to their season. They're currently in 9th, but we are underway. Aston Walls to get things going. Both have played a game already today. Muscle Warriors were 1-0 victors against West Bromwich Albion Dudley. Hull and East Yorkshire were defeated 1-0 to Sale United. So you're looking at the table, you're looking at how these two have fared in the season thus far. Muscle Warriors have to be considered favourites. Wouldn't you agree, Lucas?
Yeah, I certainly agree, because Hull and East Yorkshire are struggling to find the back up in the net lately.
I think with Hull and East Yorkshire, they've just seen so many players come and go that it's just a real phase that they need to see their way through. And I've no doubt that they will be a strong force within the championship once they unlock the formula, once they understand the best tactics and techniques to use, what lineups to adopt. Most notable departure was that of Cole Simpson, who's now playing at Newcastle United at a very high level within the Premiership. And you lose a player with that type of quality, it's going to take a real time to adjust to it. But to go through the starting squads as they sit: Hannah Hindley in goal for Muscle Warriors, Ricken Shah in the centre, Jacob Vickers, who is absolutely sensational in game week 1, also got their single goal in their earlier win against West Bromwich Albion Dudley. So he's started game week 2 as he ended game week 1. George Shippey is the other winger. And for Hull and East Yorkshire, starting with Joel Rothery, he's going to try and defend his box here. In goal, Aston Walls, Kai Gill and Emma Hodson. George Shippey looking to keep the pressure going. Brilliant work from Aston Walls to relieve pressure on his defensive box momentarily.
Foul in the middle of the pitch. So direct free kick for Muscle Warriors. They will be hoping to be clinical from the set piece here now.
Yeah, Ricken Shah to take, the most prolific goal scorer, competing in the Championship division across his career. 126 goals to his name.
Jacob Vickers just battling and trying to take it about Walls, but Walls trapped the ball. And now he's going to break. Takes it around Shippey but Vickers was there.
What's good for Muscle Warriors is they've just got so much quality in depth now, something that they may not necessarily have had in seasons gone by. Just looking at the bench now, they've got Shay Murray and Parth Gakwad's, two very accomplished power chair football players. Parth Gakwad's played football within the Premiership division before. And they also have Stanley Ball, who is just such a brilliant young up-and-coming player, scored several goals in game week 1 in his National League debut. Likewise with George Shippey currently on the court. Not just that, add to the fact that they've brought in Hannah Hindley, one of the most accomplished, competent defensive goalkeepers anywhere in the country. And Jacob Vickers has just found a new lease of life. So really have been excited with what I've seen from Muscle Warriors so far. Can they consistently produce the level of performances we've seen in the 6 games they've played? We will only know that at the conclusion of game week 5, but you couldn't have asked for a better start if you're Alan Murray.
I think, isn't this like the closest start of the season to date?
It's certainly been so competitive, and that statement can very much be applied to the Premiership as well. It's from top to bottom, really anyone can beat anyone. We're seeing Hull and East Yorkshire now growing attacking pressure.
And that just shows how much the sport is growing as well. 1-0 on court.
Yeah, 1-0 on court B. So George Shippey comes over to take into Joel Rothery.
Looking to find Ricky Shaw.
Fairly cagey opening 6 minutes. Muscle Warriors with a more attacking intent, but nothing that's troubled the whole defence a great deal, as Joel Rothery knows the dimensions of his goal. Happy to let that roll out of play for a goal kick. That really is a big game on Court A between Manchester United and GBG Knights. As Rickenshaw nearly squeezes the ball between Rothery and Aston Walls. The ball still live.
Lovely earned kicking by them Walls.
Aston Walls was playing his football at Nottingham Forest last season. Made a real impression in his opening weekend for Hull and East Yorkshire.
Because the Shippy shoots, but the Walls was there.
It's a nice pass from Jacob Vickers to pick out Rickenshaw. Kai Gill's pass nearly gifted possession back to Muscle Warriors. They've weathered the storm. Emma Hodson does well to vacate the space, but Jacob Vickers desperately trying to stop Aston Walls advancing. And good work from Hull and East Yorkshire to just congest that box and that final third and win themselves a 2-on-1.
If Hull and East Yorkshire play their cards right, this could end in a goal.
Not before a substitute is made for Muscle Warriors. Parth Gakwad coming on. Jacob Vickers coming off. Wonder if they need to make an adjustment with his chair. It was a frantic exit, but play will continue via this indirect free kick taken by Aston Walls. Emma Hodson to the right, Kai Gill to the left. That's a nice attempt from Emma Hodson to send it goal bound, and on the follow-up effort, Kai Gill can't quite get the contact, but a second successive 2-on-1 will allow them to keep the danger live. Good chance here. Has to go via the chair of an opponent or teammate. Into the box. No real power to trouble Rickenshaw. What are your thoughts so far, Lucas?
A very dominant display by Muscle Warriors, with all East Yorkshire are starting to get their way into the game a bit more.
Yeah, I think that is the case regarding Hull and East Yorkshire. They're just settling as the half's gone on. They've got options on the bench should they wish to use them. 4 for that, a matter of fact. Luke Brennan, Callum Jefferson, Steve Kerrison. And they also have Harrison Smith. So, and it looks like they've made that a substitute. Looks as if Harrison Smith has come on in place of Emma Hodson, and a potential break for Parth Gakwad. He has George Shippey in support. Ricochets, very congested. Good cut out by Aston Walls, needed to make that interception. Confirmation of that earlier substitute. As you can see on your screens, this weekend we are proudly acknowledging Stonewall's Rainbow Laces campaign. Joel Rothery just guides it out of play. Since 2013, Rainbow Laces inspired millions of people to drive change, and this weekend we are reaffirming our commitment to creating a sport where everyone feels free to be themselves. Parth Gakwad straight into the thick of things since his introduction, desperately trying to figure out a way past Kai Gill. It's really strong defensive work from Hull and East Yorkshire. And whilst I think you said that it's been fairly dominant in terms of possession for Muscle Warriors, nothing has troubled their defence a great deal.
No.
That's a brilliant pass over to George Shippey, back to Parth Gakwad. Whether or not that was the intention to return the favour to Gakwad on the alternate wing, or it was just a misplaced shot. Either way, it was a fantastic initial set piece which opened up the gap and allowed them to explore that option. "13 minutes gone. Muscle Warriors nil, Hull and East Yorkshire nil in game week 2 of the 2024-25 Optegra Championship here at the Lee Westwood Sports Centre. Optegra provides innovative treatment and eye care, ensuring that thousands of people every year are able to see more clearly and live life to the fullest. A sentiment and a goal that we share in what we do. Is George Shippey. I would have liked to have seen him stay in reverse there, staying in reverse and then going counter-clockwise into the strike would have yielded far more success than what he eventually played out. It's a shame because that is his last involvement, certainly of this first half, as Mitchell Goslin comes on in his place. Cut out by Rickenshaw. Parth Gakwad not quite prepared to take that. Our match officials for this one in the centre, Pete Westmoreland, complemented by Russ Baker and Ian Harley, as Aston Walls is going to try and get the ball up the court. Locked in his defensive third. The ball has to stay live and continue to roll, otherwise a set ball will resume play. But Parth Gakwad doing well to just keep the ball rolling ever so slightly as Rickenshaw attacks it, looking to add another goal to his already impressive tally in his career. .126 goals he's scored across the time he's been playing power chair football. Well, certainly for WFA run competitions, which obviously encapsulates the National League and the WFA Cup competition. I'm sure if you factor in regional league goals, it's far beyond that. Aston Walls. Down to Harrison Smith. That's nice football there. Kai Gill not able to make contact, but they were picking their passes.
You can see what they're trying to do. It's just the final execution of it. Just Rickenshaw just went in a little bit too hard there.
Yeah, I would agree, as does the referee. So, direct free kick taken quickly. Mitchell Goslin with his first involvement. It's just crying out for a little bit of quality, this fixture. Neither side has had that real cutting edge. 3 or so minutes remaining. Still, Muscle Warriors nil. Hull and East Yorkshire nil.
I think out of the both teams, a draw would suit Hull and East Yorkshire more.
Yeah, I would agree, Lucas. They would be absolutely delighted with a point here. Still a lot of football left to be played. But it's been a good, strong half. I just had the pleasure of watching Nottingham Forest versus Leeds Dynamos. Another game on paper where they're fairly opposite ends of the table. But Nottingham Forest was so competitive. And you're seeing teams such as Nottingham Forest, such as Manchester City, of course, who you play for, really take what they learnt last season and apply it to their football in this one. So we're seeing development from top to bottom, and it's fantastic to see. Half time on court A. Manchester United 0, GBG Knights 2 as a ricochet goes out for a goal kick. You're joining myself, Ryan Sipple, and Lucas Veza O'Brien for this one between Muscle Warriors and Hull in East Yorkshire, approaching the half-time interval. Ricochets high into the head of Kai Gill. They're just going to make sure he's okay before things continue. Fairly heavy contact from the ball. Obviously safety absolutely paramount.
Gill's okay and he's still playing.
Two on one in favour of Muscle Warriors. Just ticking over into additional time. Maybe 30 seconds to a minute will be added on. Can Muscle Warriors capitalise very late on? They haven't managed to break the deadlock in the opening 20, so it'll be a bitter pill to swallow if they are able to do so deep into additional time. As Aston Walls reads it well, it's going to go out for a corner kick. So really late opportunity. Path Gakwa to take, Rickenshaw the closest option, Mitchell Goslin at the back post. Gakwad. Rickenshaw looks like he'll be the intended target. Back to Mitchell Goslin, slightly too square, and now potential break on. Harrison Smith picks it off into the path of Aston Walls. And that will signal the end of the half. Almost some late drama, but thank you to all that are joining. Myself and Lucas, we will be back very shortly for the second half. Hello everyone and welcome back to game week 2 of the 2024-25 Optegra Championship, where you join myself, Ryan Sipple, for the second half in this fixture between Muscle Warriors and Hull and East Yorkshire. Nothing to separate the two within the first 20 minutes of football. Will we see one of these two influence that scoreline in the second half? We have 20 minutes to determine that, as Pete Westmoreland just gets his watch ready to oversee proceedings. Whilst we wait, I can give you the starting squads for this second half. Hannah Hindley, Ricken Shah, Jacob Vickers and Shay Murray of Muscle Warriors, and Joel Rothery, Aston Walls, Kai Gill and Steve Kerrison. So numerous substitutes in the break. Jacob Vickers back on in place of Parth Gakwad. Mitchell Gosling coming off, so Shay Murray enters, and Steve Kerrison on in place of Harrison Smith. So both have assessed how they fared in the first 20 in that half-time break and are looking to address the deficiencies in which were presented. Jacob Vickers, such a fantastic player. As mentioned in the first half on commentary, was simply unplayable in game week 1. He's had this like new lease of life. He's been a mainstay in this Muscle Warriors team for many, many years, but something's triggered in him, and he's now providing goals and assists and flair, and he's added elements to his game which we just haven't seen before. Shay Murray has to be careful, just locked up in that top right-hand corner. Pete Westmoreland wanted to let play continue, but it wasn't quick enough in vacating the top right-hand corner. Aston Walls. Contact between Shah and Aston Walls, waved off by Pete Westmoreland. Thank you to all that are tuning in. I believe there is some technical difficulties on Court A between GBG Knight and Manchester United, but hopefully no issues on Court B. Muscle Warriors, should they fail to secure 3 points, that'll be the first real blemish on their faultless record. They've played 6, they've won 6. Not just that, but they've faced some serious opposition in their opening games. So they're well on course to challenge right towards the summit. Hull and East Yorkshire just having that, probably that season to adjust and adapt to very new feel, new look, new system. But the fact they've got a squad of 8 at their disposal is really good to see, giving opportunities for players such as Callum Jefferson and Harrison Smith to really experience power chair football at its highest level. Muscle Warriors also providing opportunities for Stanley Ball and George Shippey. It's just a real feel-good factor around the National League this season. But the second half has begun as the first finished. cagey, with Muscle Warriors' attack being cancelled out by Hull and East Yorkshire's defence. Chance for Jacob Vickers there. Aston Walls had that post covered, but good passage of play. The initial set piece fired diagonally, and then the ricochet off the Hull and East Yorkshire chair nearly presented them with their best opportunity to score. Shea Murray to take. Rickenshaw and Jacob Vickers in support. Acted as the screen. Jacob Vickers at the back post. Ricochets from left to right. Lee Brennan on the side is saying that ball was too high to be registered as a goal, and it looks like Pete Westmoreland agrees with that. The ball has to be below the designated red markers. I probably would have given that. Set pull to resume play, but the warning signs are there. And Hull and East Yorkshire will have to address these issues fairly quickly, because Muscle Warriors are growing in stature, growing in confidence, and they've got players on the court that have so much quality. So it may be a long 15 minutes. Shea Murray to take. Out of play for a kick in. Murray down to Rickenshaw. Next up on Court B, Manchester City take on Villa Rockets Lions. Nottingham Forest take on Teesside, still on Court A. Here, Muscle Warriors looking to end on a high. Easy. I said that for all the while that them players are on the court. They're growing in stature, growing in confidence, and Jacob Vickers opens the scoring. It's a direct replica of the goal that won them the game against West Bromwich Albion Dudley earlier today. Shea Murray with the assist, and Jacob Vickers the goal scorer. He's just found a purple patch that he's absolutely loving, Jacob Vickers. And that goal puts him joint top goal scorer with George Holloway on 9. Just applying the context of how he's found a new way of playing almost in his power chair football career in its entirety. Jacob Vickers has scored 20 goals. So nearly half the goals he scored in the entirety of his career have come in the first 7 games of Muscle Warriors season. So if that doesn't put it into perspective, I don't know what will. Truly amazing stuff. Aston Walls down to Kai Gill. Vickers down to into the centre. Kai Gill there to try and sweep it out of danger. Just put it into perspective. Muscle Warriors, including what's remaining in this game, have played 7 games. They're on course to secure 7 wins. They are yet to concede a single goal in the 24-25 season. It's fairly unprecedented when we talk about how competitive this division is and how anyone can beat anyone. Tomorrow they face Sale United and Leeds Dynamos, so that last game against Dynamo is probably the toughest. But Sale United have been really good in the opening weekend and this one as well. Luke Brennan comes onto the court. In place of Steve Kerrison. But less than 10 minutes to go. It looks as if Muscle Warriors are just going to see this one out. Shay Murray into Aston Walls. Just knocking on the door, desperately trying to find a way to double their advantage. Whilst it's been fairly comfortable for Muscle Warriors, a 1-0 scoreline, of course, comes with potential risks and opportunities for the opposition, in this case Hull and East Yorkshire, to find an equaliser whilst there's minutes on the clock and there's only a goal in it. Muscle Warriors won't take anything for granted. They've committed players forward now, though, as Jacob Vickers looks to replicate for the 3rd time this weekend a goal at the back post provided by Shay Murray. Aston Walls into Kai Gill, locked up by Rickenshaw. Like to see Stanley Ball feature, the only player yet to do so in this tie. It looks as if he's getting some instructions from Alan Murray on the left-hand side of your screens. So hopefully we will see him feature and get some minutes. He'll be looking to add to his goal tally, having registered several goals across game week 1 of the competition. 3 to be precise. Across the box, Shay Murray. Jacob Vickers not in the position to capitalise, slightly too square. And just as I was mentioning it, the substitute will take place, adorning the number 10, Stanley Ball. Comes on in place of number 9, Shay Murray, who was bright in the time in which he featured, providing that assist to Jacob Vickers. First time Hull and East Yorkshire have managed to really break into the Muscle Warriors half for quite some time. It's about making it count. Good defensive work from Jacob Vickers. Been a very quiet 35 or so minutes for Hannah Hindley. She gets the applause from Rickenshaw, just situated behind her, shielding that goal. She's such a fantastic player, is Hannah Hindley. So versatile, so calm under pressure. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Muscle Warriors' success has come since she has been introduced to the team. Just the stability she provides and that defensive foundation for her attacking players to then build upon. If you're Rickenshaw, you're absolutely loving the fact that you've got someone behind you that will provide so much stability and comfort for then you to then build on attacks. And that's why they typically do utilise a 1-in-3 system. When I say that, I mean one as in Hannah Hindley will be very defensive, very isolated, will rarely leave her defensive box. But they have the three players in attack currently, Rickenshaw, Jacob Vickers and Stanley Ball, who between them will have more room to roam without fear of 2-on-1 infringements. And certainly when you're playing a team such as Hull and East Yorkshire, who are typically a very defensive team, will look to gain their success on counter-attacks and quick breaks. But even if Muscle Warriors are to see this 1-0 scoreline through to the final whistle, there is most definitely positives for Hull and East Yorkshire. As I've already mentioned, Muscle Warriors have played 7, are on course to win 7, and have yet to concede in the 24-25 championship. So scoring a simple goal is really tricky against this opposition, as Callum Jefferson enters the core in place of Aston Walls, who's been really good in that 37 minutes. Another player who switched teams in the off-season and has just got a new lease of life, a new confidence and the responsibility in that central role, and he seems to be thriving. Win, draw or lose, I think they're playing with smiles on their faces, which is ultimately the most important thing. Very congested 2-on-1 awarded in favour of Hull and East Yorkshire. We've got 2.5 minutes remaining. This would be a real upset if they're able to capitalise. There's just been no gaps in that defensive structure. So they'll have to defy the odds and do what they haven't been able to do so in the game week 1. They weren't able to register a goal against Sale United either this morning. Contact from Luke Brennan. Just goes over to Jacob Vickers to apologise. And we are fast approaching the final minute of this game between Muscle Warriors and Hull and East Yorkshire, currently separated by a single Jacob Vickers goal. He's 9th of the season. Into Rickenshaw. Trying to weave his way around Kai Gill. Kai Gill too experienced. To let Rickenshaw just bypass him. But Shah doing a brilliant job to just lock it up in that top right-hand corner and wind down that clock Time is most definitely on the Watford-based team's side. And it looks like it's approaching the final whistle on court A. If the scoreline is correct, it is Manchester United 0, GBG Knights 3. So a huge result for them. I'll reference the league table once we have concluded things here. But with no blemishes on their record, Muscle Warriors will remain top of the table. Certainly at the conclusion of today's games. Off the front of Jacob Vickers' chair, just as I'm talking about Muscle Warriors taking maximum points and 7 wins from 7 and being top of the table if, and it's a monumental size if, Callum Jefferson can be accurate with this corner kick. Hull East Yorkshire could find an equaliser. 30 seconds into additional time, into the box, off Kai Gill's chair. He couldn't quite get the angle. He's looking for some sort of contact, but 2-on-1 rewarded in favour of Muscle Warriors, and that will surely be the last real action of this game. Full time on court A. Approaching full time on court B. Very late kick in for Jacob Vickers. Down to Rickenshaw. Pete Westmoreland has the whistle in his mouth, and that will see Muscle Warriors extend this incredibly impressive run to 7 wins from 7. I said I would reference the league standings. Muscle Warriors, having played a game more than GBG Knights, have got a 5-point buffer. 7 wins from 7 sees them sit on 21 points. GBG Knights have played 6, won 5, drawn 1 on 16 points. So if they're able to win that game in hand, they will go within 2 of the league leaders. Thank you to all that have tuned in to me. Next up on court B, Manchester City versus Villa Rockets Lions.